Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Here in this Rock Spot Connection with Weekly Comic Book Roundup. I don't have too big of a haul this week, enough to necessitate two videos, but let's get started. We'll be doing the this will be the X-Men book for the week, an Avengers related book, and some miscellaneous Marvel books. So let's get started with Powers of 10, number 2. Okay. Where we left off. How exactly? Okay, so for year 0, Moira McTaggart revealed her status as a mutant with a power based kind of on reincarnation to Charles Xavier. We also saw her various lives. Now, Mystique and Toad had brought a thumb drive that they had stolen from Damage Control to Magneto and Xavier. Year 100, the war. Cardinal and Rasputin had gotten some information from the humans and machines, the Human Machine Alliance, but at the price of Percival and Silobel. Silobel had been captured by the Human Machine Alliance, and Nimrod the Lesser had Silobel placed in a vat, and the basic idea would be that she would be basically chemically changed via chemicals into data, namely the information of what was it the X-Men took. And in year 1000, more evolved drone version of Nimrod was talking with the librarian about things. About, in very broad, vague terms, about the time between year 100 and year 1000. So, we start off year 0, X0, the X-Men year 1. Actually, we start off with a quote right off the bat. "There's a chasm between you and I, Charles, a gap that cannot be crossed. With each passing day, I fear it never will be." This is a credit to Magneto. Alright, so Moira and Charles arrive via yacht at Island M in the Bermuda Triangle. Magneto greets them in a rather condescending manner. Caps it off with, "What are you doing here, Charles?" And Charles says, "Hey, maybe both of us are wrong. Maybe neither of us is right. Maybe for us to, not just survive but take our place in the world, we need to not just we need to combine. We need to work together." And he also he convinces Magneto to remove his helmet and, let Charles into his mind. And he links Magneto to Moira. And now Magneto sees all the past lives that Moira lived. As Moira explains that her truth is profound and life-changing. And apparently between Xavier coming to know what it is Moira's what Moore's deal now it actually is. And at this point, Charles and Moore have come to believe that only together can Charles and Magneto and their people survive. However, it's quick to point out, he's not interested in survival. He is interested in, in mutants taking their rightful place, evolution, at the top of basically as the dominant species. And Charles is, hey, you know what? Okay, yes, that's what we're supposed to do that. And the the thing that we haven't tried in these lifetimes is all of us working together, all of mutant kind, not just the X-Men working for one thing, the Brotherhood trying to do another thing, the Hellfire Club doing something else. That doesn't work. It doesn't, because then you have all these factions that can be picked. I'm getting more, yeah. But he goes on to explain they have a plan. It's ambitious and long term. And goes, okay, yeah, I'm in, but I'm not going to acquiesce to sympathy or doubt. I'm not going to give an inch. Every moment of weakness, you're going to be. I'm going to call you out on it. And anytime you falter, I won't. And Charles was like, okay, yeah, that's what I expected of you. And so now, the X-Men, year 10, on Krakoa, we're looking at the files liberated for damage control by Toad, Sabretooth, and Mystique. It's the plans for a master mold that makes other master molds. And it's in orbit around the sun. What we saw, the Orcus base. And we also get some information about Orcus. A nice nod to Operation Paperclip, as explained that yes, there are Hydra is involved as well as AIM, Shield, Sword, and Hammer. Interesting, they don't mention Strike, but yeah. And they basically Charles explains that this is probably where Nimrod becomes operational, and so Cyclops like, oh, okay. Magneto asks if attacking a frontal assault on an orbital station tens of millions of miles away, built by a secret organization whose sole purpose is the extinction of mutants, can be done. And because he's a good soldier, Cyclops instead asks, does it need doing? He told it does, so it will be done. Alright, now we're year 100 on Asteroid K. Wolverine, Rasputin, oh God, I've already forgot his name. Cardinal and the Magneto Chimera are meeting with Apocalypse, who is now their leader. He explains that he's going to lead the attack to get the knowledge they need. Now, the Human Machine Monolith, the Tower of Nimrod the Lesser. Nimrod is talking to two of the soldiers, explaining that the X-Men stole an indexing machine, which is disturbing. He also explains that he is fully capable of lying if he so desires. Just just for the fun of it, If you want to say, you know what, the sky is neon pink, he can do it. And while he's giving this monologue, one of the soldiers, kind of under his breath, says, please, go on. Oh, of course, Nimrod kind of gives, he's like, excuse me? And the guy's just like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a costly day, and I'm tired. And the other guard's like, is asked if he's weary as well. And like, no. Nimrod does not believe them and disintegrates the two of them. After doing this, like, okay, where were we? Oh yes, truth. Picks up one of the skulls of one of them and is like, oh, please, great Nimrod, give us your truth so that we may know the difference between darkness and light. Well, since you ask so nicely, here it is. And he explains that the very existence was encrypted, invisible to the machine eyes. They came in secret looking for something, and it seems they found it. But he's still trying to figure out what is it that they were looking for. Also, we learned that it's not Black Tom, it's not Mondo, it's Krakoa combined with Doug Ramsey. And he's working on decrypting everything, and so he explains that the body he has once belonged to a mutant who could communicate with anything. And yet it's confirmed that is the new Zorn. But yeah, Apocalypse is going to lead the battle, but Wolverine feels it's a suicide mission. And Apocalypse explains that he knew they would never stop the machines, the technology in the future. It's unavoidable. The question that he's always had, though, is why are they always aimed at mutants? To test them, or to see if they're fit to survive. And he says that they will go and take what they need, and then they will return. He explains that this is a promise whose guarantee is assured, for he will lead them. And we get a explanation of Nimbus. I'll go into that, which can be gone into detail later. Fast forward now to the year 1000. Librarian and Nimrod are walking through, talking. And she asked Nimrod if it worked. Nimrod explains that advanced civilizations usually only come to Earth because they're universal predators. The perceived value of the system is found in celestial resources, not in living culture. And so it turns out that Nimbus was created to, or Nibiru was created to convert Nimbus into a replicant world mind to show the universe what they're capable of. And they caught someone's attention. And Nimrod explains, I think we're about to find out if it worked or not. Some creatures, their visitors arrive, explaining they ate the world mind, also identifying themselves as being phalanx. And then they ask explain that, we've heard your message, so now hear ours. What do you seek? And one of the others explains they seek ascension. And then we get a breakdown of types of planetary societies and types of galactic societies. And we end on a quote accredited to Professor X. You must see by now, there is no you and I. There is only us. We are together, or we are nothing. Interesting. Who that might be accredited to. And that is where the issue ends. As with previous entries in this series, I will be going into much more detail with the issue come Monday for Mutant Monday. So that's Powers of 10 number 2. Moving on now to Captain Marvel number 9. So where we left off with Captain Marvel, something's wrong with Carol's powers. But she's not really sure what. Her status as a Kree-human hybrid has been revealed to the world. And she's been thrown out of the Air Force. Yeah, and it's not. And it also, it seems like with the problem with her powers, there's a new heroine on the scene called Star, who's kicking ass and taking names. Helping Carol out in times when she really normally wouldn't need to be helped out. And at the end of the last issue, Dr. Minerva, oftentimes an enemy of Carol's, arrives and, hey, there's someone that needs your help. There's a race that needs your help. You in? Kind of a, hey, look, I don't like you, but you've got skill, and I get why it is you do what you do. So, you want to help me with something? That was where the last issue ended. So we open up in Maine. Turns out that Carol is stepping down as the director of Alpha Flight, and which basically means Abigail Brand, former director of SWORD, also still Beast's girlfriend, is in command. And it turns out also that her boyfriend, let's just say it now, her, once again, boyfriend, James Rhodes, War Machine, is back. So they're apparently, because trust is not easily earned among superheroes, especially when you're dealing with oftentimes villains. Carol put a tracer on Minerva. So somewhere underneath Manhattan, Carol and Rhodey are following it. See where it leads. And there's a big old door that just screams villainous plot. So Carol blasts it open, and she finds all those Kraken things she fought earlier. And Rhodey notes there's her tracker along with a post-it note says, "Hello, Carol." Meanwhile, Stark Unlimited, Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, has taken a video she took of Carol's sparring match with She-Hulk to Tony. Kind of, hey, something's up with Carol. I don't know what it is. You could, and she's not, and she doesn't want to come in and talk to you. And he can at least tell, yes, something is definitely wrong. And we're going, and the only way to really truly find out what is to get her here. Anyway, the big Kraken thing wakes up, and yeah. So Miss Marvel fights it, and it's not going as well as the last time. But luckily, Star's around to save the day. And Tony and Spider-Woman show up afterwards, and Tony basically explains, "Hey, look, I know something's up. You, you need to come and let me see what's wrong, try and figure it out." And she agrees. So let's face it, there are a few people in the Marvel universe, a few people on the Marvel Earth that, when they say, "Hey, look, I want to try and help figure out this whatever your problem is with science," you guys say, "Fine, I'll let you try and figure this out." Tony Stark is kind of sort of one of those people. So, various scans, they find that there's something in her chest, which seems to be a combination of organic matter and tech. But Tony has no idea what it is. And while discussing it, discussing the various possibilities, Carol figures out. Well, partially, okay, maybe I got an idea. And so her and Jessica Drew go off in one of Tony's flying cars. And it turns out she's got her own little Captain Marvel cave at home, which is actually kind of cool. I'm sorry, I don't care. It's got a jet. It's got her old costumes. Yeah, weights. Yeah, all manner of stuff. But apparently, it's a Kree weapon. And last time she saw one was actually during the Life of Captain Marvel miniseries recently. So she contacts Tony and says, "Hey, I need you to find the little girl I saved from that Kraken thing a while back. Also, crack open the one that crack open and see what you find, but be careful." And Carol's thinking to herself that, "Oh man, I'm just getting." She is so pissed at Minerva. And she's gonna fuck her up. But yeah, someone else. It's not Minerva. In fact, Minerva's just a red herring and is chained up further down in underground, and written on the wall in apparently Kree blood is, "You're not as smart as you think you are." Okay then. Pretty sure that Star is somehow related to all this, and yeah, is going to turn out to be a problem. Alright, moving on to Punisher Kill Crew #1. So this is supposed to come out last month. This is a mini-series that kind of wraps up, or kind of spins out of the Punisher War of the Realms mini-series. And for those who don't know, here's the basics for the story. The War of the Realms came to Earth and spread across the globe. Frank Castle, known by many as the Punisher, was on the streets in New York City battling the frost giant Casicla when an innocent family got caught in the crossfire. While Frank tried to rescue the family, the Casicla escaped, and only the father, Frank Jones, survived. The war may be over, but Frank Castle has some unfinished business. He promised to avenge Jones's family by killing Casicla, and Frank Castle keeps his promises. So, kind of get a quick version of what happened during War of the Realms. We see, and how basically when things started, what Frank was up to. which led to him, basically fighting very dark elves and frost giants and all that other stuff. Then the quick version of his fight in the War of the Realm, of him fighting in the War of the Realms, and then some of the aftermath. Including chasing a frost giant, presumably Casicla, through the streets as said giant headed towards a portal. But Doctor Strange explains that he cast a spell so that one born of Earth could not pass through the portal. And so now he's with Punisher's talking with Frank Jones at the graves of Jones's family, and it turns out Jones found some other war orphans. And so he decides one of them decides they want pizza. And so, well, he takes them to get pizza. And the kids start drawing pictures of the things that got their families. Well, one of them does, and then Frank gets a look at it and says, "Okay, you know what? Rest of you, draw me as best you can what got your families. Write down any names you might remember." So he sees a creature hauling off a woman in the park and kills it. Takes the helmet, and then turns out there's what was the picture that he got from the kid? First picture he got was basically a tree monster. And yeah, Frank shoots at it and then chucks a grenade in its mouth, and yeah. Goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum, where there's a chariot with a goat, an Asgardian chariot with a goat parked in front. After it's been given a ticket by NYPD, Punisher walks up and says, "Hey, how much weight can you pull?" Also offering it food. And so the last thing we see in the issue is the Punisher. Yes, that's the Punisher's van going up the Rainbow Bridge with an Asgardian goat drawing it. And that's where the issue ends. Alright, next up we've got Gwenpool Strikes Back. Okay, so for those who may not be aware, Gwenpool was created as a lark for a variant cover. As I recall, the idea was a combination of Deadpool and Spider-Gwen. Well, apparently a lot of people liked the drawing, and so they okay, well, come up with a character. So Marvel had a character built around it. Hey, look. So it became the Gwendolyn Poole is a comic book fan from the real world who got sucked into comics. She has since untethered herself from the real world and since tethered herself to Earth 616, the Earth that the majority of Marvel comics take place on. And she's got a lot of fourth wall breaking abilities. So yeah, so we get kind of who she is. She goes, "Oh hey, she's having internal monologue. Does that mean she's in her own story?" Explains what she does. Her powers are limited by her imagination, but it kind of, and when she's in a teen book, it doesn't work as well. But she's robbing a bank, and yeah. But it's all a ruse for Spider-Man to show up. Because she figures she gets some powers. Like some actual powers. Not some weird existential powers, but some real powers. You know, maybe she'd stick around longer. And not just kind of be shuffled off into, obscurity. And so she's trying to get Spider-Man to make her ready to make her radioactive, and figures, okay, if you maybe you could bite me or something and give me spider powers. And she's like, that's not how it works. The spider that bit me was radioactive, yes, but I'm not radioactive. And so she tells hey, you know what, get it ready on your own. And then suddenly another Gwenpool shows up, Gross Gwen, and frees Gwenpool from being webbed up. She's running and she jumps and leaves the panel, and oh, she's out of the panel. And now she's trying to figure what the hell to do now, because it's not supposed to look like this. So she starts looking stuff up on Geagle, how to expose oneself to radiation. And eventually manages to make her way to getting radiation poisoning. Well, okay. Yeah. But we also get how Gross Gwenpool popped up to, yeah. She got radiation poisoning, it turns out, from lots of bananas and hanging out with Radioactive Man. This is going to be an odd series, simply put. And that's it for right now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I put new content. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal in the description box down below. This is Rock and Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.